Have you ever noticed that some mornings just feel off? Like you've barely started your day and already you're tired, stiff, maybe even a little anxious or lightheaded? If you're over 70, you might have thought, well, maybe this is just how aging feels. But let me tell you something important. It doesn't have to be. The truth is, the way we begin our morning sets the tone for the entire day. It's like laying the foundation of a house. If you rush through it, ignore a few cracks, or forget a key step, everything that comes after gets shaky. And for those of us in our golden years, even small mistakes in the morning routine can quietly build up into bigger health problems. Today, we're going to talk about four of the most dangerous morning mistakes people over 70 often make, and more importantly, how to fix them. These aren't complicated or expensive changes. They're simple, practical shifts that can make a huge difference in your energy, balance, digestion, and overall health. So grab your morning cup of tea or coffee. Yes, we'll talk about that too. And let's dive right into the first one. Let me ask you, what's the very first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? If your answer is something like, I swing my legs over the bed and stand up right away, then we need to talk. One of the most dangerous things seniors do, often without realizing it, is getting up too quickly. You might feel fine one moment, but the next your world is spinning and your knees are weak. It's not just annoying, it can be downright dangerous. As we age, our blood pressure tends to drop more when we change positions quickly, especially from lying down to standing up. It's called orthostatic hypotension, a fancy term for a sudden drop in blood pressure that can leave you dizzy, disoriented, and at serious risk of falling. And a fall after 70? That's not just a bruise, it can be a life-changing event. So here's what to do instead. When you first wake up, take a moment, just breathe, wiggle your toes, gently rotate your ankles, bend your knees a little, then slowly roll onto your side and sit up gradually. Let your feet dangle off the bed for a minute or two before standing. During that time, you can stretch your arms, shrug your shoulders, even say a little morning affirmation if that's your thing. Something like, today I give my body the care it deserves. That extra minute might feel small, but it could be the reason you stay safe and steady on your feet. Trust me, your body will thank you for that gentle start. Now let's move on to the second big mistake, and it's one that often hides behind good intentions. Have you ever skipped breakfast because you just weren't hungry? Or maybe you thought, it's better if I eat later, I'll save my appetite for lunch. You wouldn't be alone. Many older adults develop a smaller appetite, and it can seem easier to wait until later in the day to eat. But skipping breakfast, especially in your 70s or beyond, can quietly drain your strength, slow down your metabolism, and mess with your blood sugar in ways that leave you feeling fatigued, moody, or even shaky. Your body has been fasting all night, and by morning, it's running low on fuel. Think of breakfast like lighting the pilot light on a stove. Without it, the whole system can't run properly. And if you have any health conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or even mild depression, skipping breakfast can make all of those symptoms worse without you realizing why. But here's the thing, breakfast doesn't have to be a big, complicated meal. It just needs to be something balanced. A bowl of oatmeal with a few walnuts, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, some scrambled eggs and a piece of fruit. Even a smoothie with Greek yogurt, banana, and a little flaxseed can do wonders. The key is protein, fiber, and hydration. That trio is your morning lifeline. It stabilizes your blood sugar, gives your muscles what they need, and jumpstarts your digestion. And yes, hydration. That brings us to the third mistake that's far more common than you might think. But before we get to that, let me just say this. If you've been making these mistakes, don't be hard on yourself. You're not alone. We weren't taught this stuff growing up. In fact, most people just kept doing what they've always done, not realizing that what worked in their 30s doesn't always work in their 70s. The good news? It's never too late to adjust. Even a small change in your morning routine can ripple through your entire day and your entire life. So now that we've talked about getting up too fast and skipping breakfast, let's keep the momentum going. Now let's talk about something that seems so basic, so ordinary, that it often gets overlooked. hydration. More specifically, the mistake of not drinking water shortly after waking up. You'd be surprised how many people, especially those of us over 70, start the day without a single sip of water. Maybe you go straight for the coffee, maybe you don't feel thirsty, or maybe it just slips your mind. But here's what's really happening. After 6, 7, or even 8 hours of sleep, your body wakes up already in a mild state of dehydration. It's been hard at work all night, repairing cells, digesting dinner, regulating temperature, and it's been doing all of that without any fluids coming in. Now imagine trying to get through the first few hours of your day, walking, reading, exercising, even thinking, without giving your brain and your muscles the hydration they desperately need. That groggy, sluggish feeling, that foggy brain, or dry mouth, or even mild dizziness. Often it's not just old age, it's dehydration. Drinking water first thing in the morning can work like magic. It wakes up your digestion, jumpstarts your metabolism, improves blood circulation, and helps flush out the toxins your body processed overnight. Just a glass, 6 to 8 ounces, of room temperature water before breakfast can make a huge difference. And if plain water doesn't appeal to you, try adding a slice of lemon or a splash of unsweetened cranberry juice. It feels refreshing, a little fancy even, and your body will thank you for it. And yes, coffee lovers, I hear you. You can still have your morning cup, but make it your second drink, not your first. Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it can make your body lose even more water. So having water before coffee is like putting on your shoes before going out. It just makes sense. All right, now let's move into the fourth mistake. This one might surprise you because it's something a lot of people think is good for them. But if it's not done the right way, it can cause more harm than good. I'm talking about jumping into exercise too quickly after waking up, without warming up, fueling up, or checking in with your body first. We've all heard how important it is to stay active as we age, and that's absolutely true. But here's the thing. When you're over 70, your body isn't the same as it was at 40 or even 60. Your joints are stiffer in the morning. Your circulation is still catching up. Your muscles might still be asleep. So going from zero to a full walk or jumping right into yoga or stretching can shock the system, especially if you haven't eaten or hydrated yet. This is where gentle preparation makes all the difference. Before you even consider putting on your sneakers, start with a simple body check. How are you feeling today? Are your knees achy? Is your back tight? Are you dizzy or low on energy? Respect what your body tells you, then do a few gentle movements while still indoors. Slow arm circles, shoulder rolls, light leg lifts while sitting, or even deep breathing while reaching up and stretching your spine. You don't have to spend more than 5 minutes doing this, but it helps your body transition into the day with intention and care. And don't forget, exercising without breakfast or hydration is like driving a car with no gas and no oil. You might get a few miles down the road, but you're going to wear yourself out. Or worse, cause damage that builds up over time. A banana and a few sips of water before a short walk can be the difference between feeling energized and feeling exhausted. And here's another tip. If you take medication in the morning, be mindful of how it might interact with movement or lack of food. Some blood pressure meds or diabetes meds can make you feel lightheaded on an empty stomach. That's why it's important to talk to your doctor or pharmacist about your morning routine too. Sometimes it's not the pills, it's the timing or what you're doing around them. So now we've talked about those 4 big morning mistakes: getting up too fast, skipping breakfast, forgetting to hydrate, and overdoing or rushing into exercise. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I've done all of those this week, don't worry, you're not alone. These habits sneak in so quietly, they often feel normal. But the beauty of small habits is that they're easy to change, one step at a time. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to pay attention, to treat your mornings as a sacred time, a time to give your body what it needs, not just what it's used to, a time to listen instead of rush, to care instead of push through. There's so much power in the way you start your day. And when you begin it gently, wisely, with purpose, everything after that becomes just a little smoother, a little lighter, a little more joyful. There's something beautiful that happens when you start paying attention to your mornings. It's like discovering a secret passage, one that leads to better energy, clearer thinking, and a steadier mood all day long. But there's one more morning mistake we haven't talked about yet, and it's one that might be hiding in plain sight. It's the mistake of starting your day with negative input. Now you might be wondering, what exactly does that mean? Let me explain. For many people, the very first thing they reach for in the morning isn't water, it isn't breakfast, and it's not a stretch or a smile. It's the phone. And what's waiting on that little screen? News headlines filled with fear, stories of conflict, arguments on social media, or messages that make you feel overwhelmed before you've even had your coffee. Or maybe it's not the phone. Maybe it's the television, turned on before you've even fully opened your eyes. Maybe it's a habit you've had for decades, turning on the morning news, even if it makes your stomach churn or your shoulders tense. And here's the thing, your mind, just like your body, is vulnerable in those first few minutes after waking. It's wide open. Whatever you feed it sets the tone for the rest of your day. If the first thing you do is fill your mind with worry, anger, or frustration, your nervous system reacts. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises. Your heart rate might pick up, your breathing might change, and your entire mood can be thrown off before you've even stood up. And if that happens every day, it becomes a pattern, a quiet, invisible one that drains your joy little by little. But just like all the other habits we've talked about, this one can be gently changed. You don't have to throw away your phone or cancel the cable, but what you can do is give yourself a buffer, a small window of peace before the noise begins. Maybe it's 5 minutes of silence with your hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea. Maybe it's stepping outside to feel the breeze or hear the birds before you check the headlines. Maybe it's reading something uplifting, a line of poetry, a daily devotional, or even a loving note you wrote to yourself the night before. Your mornings belong to you, not the news, not the phone, not the world shouting for your attention. Imagine waking up and starting your day not with worry, but with something gentle, a moment of gratitude, a quiet stretch, a breath that says, I'm here, I'm alive, and I choose peace today. That small shift, just a few moments of choosing calm over chaos, can transform how you move through the hours ahead. And for those of you who live alone or feel lonely in the mornings, I want to tell you this. You're not alone in how you feel. Mornings can be quiet, sometimes too quiet, but that quiet doesn't have to be empty. It can be filled with intention. You can turn it into a space of strength, a time when you anchor yourself in the things that bring you joy and purpose. Maybe it's writing down one thing you're proud of, or calling a friend, or just putting on a favorite song while you go about your morning routine. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to be yours. Because when you make your mornings a place of care, physical care, emotional care, and even spiritual care, you give your whole day a better chance. And that's what this is really about. Not perfection, not being rigid, but learning how to treat yourself with more kindness, especially at the very start of the day. So let's take a moment to breathe that in, to remember that even if yesterday didn't go the way you wanted, even if you've made these morning mistakes for years, it's never too late to try something new, to begin again. That's the beauty of mornings. They always come with a second chance. You don't have to jump out of bed. You don't have to eat a full breakfast or do an hour-long workout. You just need to take one small step toward a gentler, healthier start. Whether it's sitting up slowly, drinking a glass of water, stretching your arms to the ceiling, or choosing to put down the phone for 5 extra minutes of peace. These little shifts matter. And the truth is, you deserve that care. You've lived a life full of lessons, and every year you've earned the right to slow down, tune in, and take charge of your own well-being. Aging isn't about decline, it's about transformation. It's about learning to listen to your body in new ways and to honor the wisdom it carries. So as we wrap up this conversation, let me just say this. You are not powerless. You are not too old. You are not stuck in your ways. Every morning is an opportunity, a clean slate, a soft invitation to begin the day with love, with purpose, and with a little more intention. And I hope this video has reminded you that your health is not just in your doctor's hands. It's in your own, starting the moment you open your eyes. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What's one morning habit you've changed or want to change after watching this? Share it with us below. You never know who you might inspire. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more real, honest, and empowering conversations about living well at every age. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm so proud of you for taking care of yourself. Here's to brighter mornings, stronger bodies, and peaceful hearts. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, you're doing better than you think.